Hello, all, and welcome to Sports Wire for another watch along. I'm sorry, not a watch along, a live show, a Chelsea transfer show, um, with, of course, your host VJ. We've got a lot to talk about in terms of transfer news. Not just the transfer news, we also have other news today. We've got some, things that are going up. We have certain things that are going around in terms of the contract extension. Some of the topics around Chelsea's interest for different positions, specifically on wingers and defenders. Wingers, we might not do it in the summer, but then there is a good possibility that we might say assign a wing back, um, mostly a right wing back. But yeah, those are the conversations that are going on around in Twitter. Today, we'll probably discuss all of them. Like as usual, please press that like button, uh, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that. Really, really helps us with the algorithm. Thank you, DJ Savage, for joining in the stream. Hopefully, if you can join in directly to the stream, that'll be really great someday. Fairboy says, "Good to be back." All right. Fairboy is back as well. Fairboy, always nice to have you on the live channel. On the panel. If you want to come in, let me know. As usual, here you go. The link is in the chat window. If you want to pick it up from there and join us, have your say, you're always welcome. Jem as well has joined the stream. He says, "Big up, bro." Thank you, Jem, for joining in the stream. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover, actually, in terms of transfer news. I expected the transfer window to go in a lot more quickly. With a lot of players in quickly, but seems that's not the case. We're still speculating. There's a lot of, you know, I expected a lot more quicker movement from Chelsea Football Club as soon as the transfer window opened. Because let me tell you honestly, we lost Chilwell probably a month ago. Reece James a few weeks before the transfer window even opened. So we were actually in a right position to bring players in right on the first day, but we did not. I'm not even sure if you're actually looking in or if you've already put in a bid or something. No clue. We do know that we have certain interests that are. We have attracted certain interests for the wingback position, but nothing is concrete yet. Trippier, who's in Atletico Madrid, seems to be going towards Newcastle United. Seems that he is on his way to Newcastle United for 23 million. There is some negotiations that are happening right now, but then he seems to be a more possible option for Newcastle United than Chelsea Football Club. The saddest part is we're not able to even compete with Newcastle United right now. Yeah, I understand they are hot in the market. They want to get players and compete and all that. But come on. This is their first buy in the window. Should be doing better than that. Fairboy says that makes it shocking. It's like Chelsea does not know our squad has certain issues. Yeah. I was actually reading through one of the posts from the other side of the coin, Miss. It says that the board was not even aware that Chilwell was injured. They're probably saying that why is Thomas Tuchel not utilizing Chilwell properly? It could be a banter. End of the day, I think the board is in one such situation. I responded back saying that they at least know Chilwell is in the squad, and they did not suggest us to go get him from Everton. Um, DJ Savage says this whole Lukaku situation has slowed our transfer business down for now. At least this are sorted. Hearing TT press conference. I hope now the club is back. Now the club backs Tuchel and gets us cover for left wing back and right wing back. Yeah, what DJ Savage says makes a lot of sense. It could be the case as well. It could be the case. Nick Blue as well as joined the stream. It makes a lot of sense, right? Because you have this Lukaku conundrum. There was a huge PR issue. Communications were not proper. Thomas Tuchel had to sort out certain things. He actually postponed this meeting with Lukaku because of the big match that we had, which is Liverpool versus Chelsea. And I think that was the reason why Lukaku probably did not play in that game. I mean, I wouldn't even say that he was banned for that game. I think he did not sort it out through the meeting and he was not able to spend some time for the meeting. And that's probably the reason why, you know what, he said, let's do this after the Chelsea Liverpool game. Until that, it's better that you are not part of the squad. I mean, it could well be a possibility. But once Thomas Tuchel and Lukaku had their conversations, their meetings, everything seemed to have been sorted. He was present for the training, he was training with the squad. Nothing seems to have, you know, um, gone into the next phase that a lot of people expected. I remember people calling for Lukaku out, and Thomas Tuchel needs to sack Lukaku. Like, have to sell. The board has to sell Lukaku this summer, this winter transfer window itself. If not this winter transfer window, definitely on the summer transfer window. But nothing of any sorts is probably going to happen. Thomas Tuchel has come out in the press conference, has said that we both have made peace. He's been apologetic with the players, and it's all good and square. I mean, I do have questions for you guys. I don't understand when he says they have made peace. Does it also mean that the fans should be making peace, or do we have a different sort of expectation? But I at least honestly have a different sort of expectation. I expected him to give an explanation. I'm again stressing on the same point. I don't want his apology, but I just want an explanation for the reason why he gave the interview, or what triggered him to talk about Chelsea Football Club or Inter that way. That too after joining the club, 6 months after joining the club. That's an explanation that I probably want to hear. And yes, I'm not going to make any decision based on that explanation alone. First thing is, I want him to perform on the pitch. Also, I'd like to hear an explanation. Fairboy says, but Lukaku still needs to make a public apology. Yeah, I mean, there is a different set of fans in Chelsea community who expects an apology. Honestly, I'm not going to say it's wrong for them to expect an apology, because they have kept Lukaku in this level. They are the ones who went to the match, shouted Romelu Lukaku. They were singing that Roma, Roma, Romelu, Romelu, that song. I'm pretty bad at singing, all right? But yeah, they were the one who was singing those songs. I mean, they deserve an explanation. Why were they singing for a player who were not even interested to play for them? They deserve an explanation and probably an apology from their perspective. I don't have any rights to question them. I think Romelu Lukaku has to come out in the public and probably explain the situation. And if it deserves an apology, then probably take it from there. But having zero public appearance until now is not helping his cause with the fan base, at least. Maybe what you're trying to do from the club is trying to control the situation first, try to control the media side effects and all that, and then probably bring in Lukaku. But then once you address this issue, that is when things are going to get better. The fans are really disappointed and are unhappy about the situation, and the club, along with Lukaku, has to do something to address the fact. Yes, of course, Chelsea fans are not going to go to the club stadium and then boo. But also, they're not going to sit with their hands tied and support the club. Maybe support the club, but not support Romelu Lukaku. No one is in the mood to support Romelu Lukaku. And I don't blame them. Michael Talks Football says, big up, no one is talking about this, but Chelsea are honestly cursed at the striker position. Absolutely, another good point from Michael Talks Football. How many number 9s after Didier Drogba? Even Didier Drogba was not a number 9 jersey-wise, but then how many number 9s have been very successful for us? Diego Costa to an extent. Fernando Torres was utterly a flop. Maybe he had his moments in cup games in Champions League and all that, but he still did not live up to his expectation. Tammy Abraham to an extent, all right. But any big signings that we bring in, number nines, they're not helping Chelsea Football Club. What's happening with this number nine in Chelsea Football Club? What's the curse that we have here? Michael Talks Football also says that only Drogba and Diego Costa has been successful. Yeah, I mean, lately they're the ones who've been successful, and I don't know what's wrong. I don't think so. It's the system because Chelsea, anyways, not follow the same system because they keep shifting between the managers, which also means they shift the systems according to the new managers. So it definitely is not the system. I know the system is not the issue. It's not that we're not spending. We just spent 100 million on the striker, and he doesn't want to be in here. So that seems to be not an issue. Playing style, I don't think so. The playing style also is an issue. I mean, I understand Pep Guardiola is winning the tournament without even having a false nine. Sorry, without even having a number nine. He's playing with a false nine and he's still able to get the results. I respect that. But not every club can be like Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Something is going wrong with respect to this number nine position. We'll have to get this sorted. We'll have to get this sorted ASAP. This is one of the best strikers in the market that we went and fought for. I mean, he doesn't have any problem with his performance until now. I'd say he doesn't have a performance issue. He seems to be having too much of attention issues, right? He's someone who's very free to speak his mind. Maybe that is a Belgian way of conducting themselves, but you should still know how to speak and where to speak, what to speak. Right to freedom doesn't just give you the freedom to speak whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want. And you also have to remember that you are a public figure. Whatever you talk has a bit of weightage in the media. And obviously, the words can be twisted. People can take different meanings out of it. So either you have to communicate properly or you'll have to stop communicating with the media. Otherwise, this is what is probably going to happen. Michael says, so is this correct that Lukaku will play tomorrow against Tottenham Hotspur? Michael, I think, it's not I think. Mostly, Tottenham Hotspur, Lukaku is going to play against the game, play in the Tottenham Hotspur game. It's 10 p.m. here, and I think I'm actually getting sleepy. I don't know. But yeah, so that's the news. Lukaku will be featuring in the game tomorrow. Will he be featuring as a substitute or will he be starting in the game? We don't know yet. Since the cup competitions are like there are 5 substitutions and all that, it could well be a possibility that we start with Kai Havertz and then bring on Lukaku for the last 15-20 minutes if at all it is required. But it seems that Lukaku will be starting. And also, I heard few news saying that he's been training good. When I say he's been training good, he's been more involved in the training after this particular communication impact. He started training better, is what I heard. So until now, was he not performing properly in the training? Who knows? But today or yesterday, he seemed to have a very good training completed. So I think that's probably a way to impress your manager to let you play, and also probably talk to your players, tell them, you know what, I made a mistake, and it's all sorted now. Apologize to the teammates if required. I think those are the activities that have happened in the last couple of days in Chelsea Football Club. Nothing good. Nothing good for the club. A lot of noise, as told by Thomas Tuchel. I agree to him completely. Lot of unnecessary noise that too before one of the biggest games in the season. Was it needed? Absolutely not. Why was this interview given? No one has a clue. Has Romelu Lukaku apologized to Thomas Tuchel? Maybe. Has the issue been sorted out? It seems to have. Is he going to play in the Tottenham game? Yes. Is there any other repercussions apart from this particular one match ban? It seems to be. There is a financial repercussion also. There seems to be a fine of 500,000 euros for Romelu Lukaku. And here as well, the fan base seems to be a bit divided. A few people are saying that €500,000 is not a big money for someone like Romelu Lukaku. So the fine amount should be more. And a few people are saying, you know what? It's fine. It's just fine. Whatever is the fine, just ask him to pay that and let's move on. It's just 2 weeks of wages for him. Now, my take on this particular amount, right, in terms of the fine amount, is that generally when contracts are written, this doesn't go just for football, right? Usually when contracts are written in general, you have certain policies that will be explained in your contract. This is what is expected out of me. This is my statement of work, and if I do not follow this statement of work, if there are contractual breaches, if there are anything that are going beyond whatever is the agreed term, then these are the penalties that I would be incurring, or these are the fines that I will be incurring. This is how usually contracts are written, right? And when you write these type of contracts, you always refer to your penalties in percentage. All right. So when I say percentage, let's consider Lukaku is being paid €250,000 a week. This is how a contract statement would be. If there is a contractual breach, 10% of your yearly fee will be deducted from your salary or from your wages, or 5%, whatever be the number. They are usually in percentage. And I think there is, see, as much as emotions come into the equation from a fan's perspective, from a footballing perspective, we also have to realize Chelsea Football Club cannot make a decision purely based on the emotional side of things. So immediately after this had happened, I'm speculating this is what the club would have done. They would have gone and referred back to the contract. They would have seen, what is this contract situation right now? What does the contract say in terms of financial repercussion that we can actually levy on the player? They would have, gone through the contracts, and they would have arrived at a number based on the contract. Because of course, even Romelu Lukaku has his own lawyers, right? So you cannot just be, just because you're Chelsea Football Club, you cannot go and say, you know what, I'm not going to pay 50% of your match this year's contract fee. No, it cannot work that way, right? So it has to be through a contract. Having said that, then it makes more sense, right? 10%, let's say 10% of his wages, or maybe 2 weeks wages is what was written in the contract. So 2 weeks wages may account to what, €500,000, and that is what is being levied on him. I think that's fair. If the contract has been written in such way, then it makes sense for the club to levy that on the player in that way, right? So if you ask me, I think what was done by the club is probably in accordance with the contracts or the legal side of things. At the same time, if you ask me if one match ban was enough, given the current situation and given the value of the player, I think one match ban is more than enough, right? We definitely require him. It's not that without him we cannot perform, but with him we might look a lot better, because you know what, he's a player in form, so why not utilize him? Because getting a number 9 in form itself is a difficult job with Chelsea Football Club. We all know that. So I think there is no harm in letting him play. Now, how he is going to play along with our players in the pitch, that's something that we have to look out for. And it's going to be interesting as well. Because you know what, everything might have been settled and all that inside the club, inside the players and everything. But when they come onto the pitch, you can obviously see if there is a negligence in the way that the players are passing to Romelu Lukaku, or Romelu Lukaku is not combining with our strikers or midfielders. You can observe that in the game. I'm excited to observe that sort of situation, if at all it's going to happen. And if that happens, then we have real problem in hand. Until that, I think I'm going to go with the assumption that everything is jolly dolly in Chelsea Football Club and wait for that game to happen against Tottenham Hotspur. Fairboy says, so Vijay, what if he misbehaves again? And then what does the club do? Again, these contracts, it works in such a way that there can be only these many number of breaches that you can perform in one financial year. And if you cross that, then the financial value that would be levied upon the player will also increase. And at the same time, there is something called a goodwill, right? A goodwill has nothing to do with your finances. It's basically the understanding between you and the person you signed the contract with. The goodwill has already started coming down for Lukaku, between Lukaku and Chelsea Football Club, and this goodwill will start coming down, 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 and down as and when he does these sort of things. I think once the second time the same thing happens, Chelsea will have more of leverage to act upon, right? And more of a reference point to act upon. And that probably will be the time when it will trigger a Lukaku sale. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. King of CFC says, get Dinia and Kunde. Then if possibly go for DM and Dest. Yeah, for a DM and Dest. Dest is the Barcelona right back. And very unlikely, but if you still have good enough money, time to get Chiesa or a good attacking winger. I mean, he's just given me the budget for like almost 120 to 130 million, or maybe even more than that. I don't think that Chelsea are in the position right now to do that, honestly. But I'd be happy if they do it, because I'm not the one who's maintaining Chelsea's book. It's all whatever you read in the press and media. So as per whatever I know from the media outlets, I think Chelsea are not really in a very good financial position right now, and we've incurred a few losses over the last 1 year, and they have accounted to euro 145.6 million, and we already, as a club, as Chelsea Football Club, we owe $1 billion to Forstem Limited. Forstem Limited is the company of Roman Abramovich. So basically, we as Chelsea Football Club owe the owner $1 billion. So you could ask me, you know what? Chelsea is being owned by Roman Abramovich. So what does it really mean if we are owning? I mean, we are liable to pay $1 billion to Roman. It doesn't make any sense. So in terms of how these management stuffs are done, basically they consider Chelsea Football Club as a separate entity, and Roman Abramovich, through his company Folkestone Limited, owns the maximum amount of shares in Chelsea Football Club, which makes him the deciding authority of the club, which makes him the owner or the managing partner of the club. But at the same time, the amount of investment that he puts in, he will be putting in as an investment to the club, and the club will be run separately. That doesn't get mixed with Folkestone Limited or Roman Abramovich. So the amount of return the club is able to get from the investment that was made, when you balance that book is basically 1 billion short in terms of liability, and that liability is something that we have to pay to Roman Abramovich. Vera says, put him in the reserves, or give him 3 strikes and you're out ultimatum. Now he has 1 strike. All right. I mean, 3 strikes is too much. Can we just make it to 2? Because the 1 strike itself was too much for us in terms of covering it up and all that. And it almost led to one week of continuous discussion about all that. I don't want 3 strikes for him to get out of the club. If at all he's going to do it for 3 times continuously, I prefer 2 strikes. Maybe the next time he does that, then you could use that as a levy. But yeah, 3 strikes is too much even for King of CFC. He says 1 strike is already too much. Wow. King of CFC, there are adults and professionals, not okay. These are adults and professionals, not little kids. Yeah, you could say that. But his behavior was not like a 28-year-old professional. And he also mentioned that he is being professional. I don't know what he meant by professional. If he really wanted to be professional, he should have acted in the way that Thomas Tuchel actually reacted to the situation. That is professional, not what he did. Vera says Lukaku is asked to make amends because they know Inter are not taking him back, even on loan. After all, Inter got rid of him to trim the wage bill. Firstly, this man doesn't even understand that he doesn't have a fan base right now at Inter. He's thinking that there are a huge fan base that is waiting for him to come to Milan, and he's probably going to be accepted back as the king of Milano, right? That's what they call him there. No, dude, that's not going to happen for you. No one actually wants you in the club anymore. You could see that banner as well, right? I guess you could have seen that banner being circulated in Twitter. No one is wanting him in Inter Milan. He basically doesn't have an option to go. And even if Inter Milan wants him today, they are in no position financially to pay 100 million and take back Lukaku. And we will not sell Lukaku less than 100 million because, okay, maybe not 100, 90. I don't think so. Chelsea is going to go below 90 because we will be incurring loss. And why would we do that from a business perspective? So it doesn't make any sense, right? So I think that is probably the reason why Romelu Lukaku is optionless, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and apologize because I don't have an option. I'm not even sure if he realized what he's done and actually is feeling for the issue, for his mistake. Fairboy says if Chelsea is in the financial isn't in the financial position to sign players this January, where does Tuchel go from here? Wonderful question. I mean, this is not something that I only can answer. I will speculate my version of it. I'd like you guys to answer it on the comment section as well, because I'd like as much of perspectives from you guys, because that really helps me as well to analyze the situation and probably, give a more comprehensive answer. But a very good question from Fairboy. Where does Tuchel go from here? Let's say there's no signing that is going to happen in the winter transfer window. Where does Tuchel go from here? If I were Tuchel, the first thing that I'll do is tell the management clearly, this is the injury situation that we have right now at the club. I could probably try for a top 4, because without a left back and a right back, I don't even think so the top 4 will still be possible, because our system is completely dependent on our wing backs. So as a manager, I can try for top 4, which was your ambition the last year. I'm telling you, I could still do the same this year, but I'll just be trying that. Let me make sure I communicate that clearly. I know from a management perspective, you don't have the finances to do what I'm asking for. So I'm ready to wait until the next summer, or probably, 1 year post, which is like the next winter, 2023 winter. 2023 January. I'm ready to wait. But at the same time, you should be ready to back me in my job. I think this is a sort of a mutual understanding that Tuchel and the management has to come to, if at all the management is not ready to make any investments right now. Because you cannot just ask your manager to manage a squad when you don't even have players to manage. Right? How many times can he just bring in academy players and expect them to play at the highest level? I mean, we got that once, right, with Lampard. We got that. We got few others in the preseason as well in Chalobah, which was lucky actually. Had it not been Chalobah being the find of the preseason, we would have gone for Koundé. We didn't have an option at all. So how many times we can rely on our academy to provide quality products and expect them to perform at the highest level? We all saw what is happening with Chalobah now. I'm not saying Chalobah is not playing good, but then we know that during these big games, you cannot just expect Chalobah to perform at the best, and when he doesn't, you cannot just be very harsh on him. I know a lot of people who are slandering Chalobah for heading that ball initially, but let's think about it. He came from a hamstring injury, and that ball was delivered towards his hamstring leg. So if I'm basically thinking maybe he was not fit enough to clear that ball with his leg, he didn't want to risk it, and probably he wanted to use his head for that, which means he's not confident with his legs. I wouldn't blame him. We are basically forced to play him because we don't have players. So, I mean, as a kid, that is probably what you can expect. And he's come against one of the deadliest attack in world football in Liverpool. Salah on one end, Mane on one end. You've got Diego Yata on the center. What more can you expect from that kid? He's just started. So we have to be objective as well when we, make these sort of comparisons, and we cannot be harsh. I mean, there are Manchester United fans who are blaming Harry Maguire for mistakes that he is performing on the pitch. Honestly, that makes sense because he, in his stage in the career, it is expected to do a lot more. And they blame Luke Shaw, yeah, that makes sense. But when they turn back and start blaming Greenwood and, sometimes, yeah, Rashford, he's still not young, but Greenwood, no, that doesn't make any sense. That's a kid. He's got to start developing now. If you want to blame someone, start blaming Ronaldo and Cavani there. Or probably the manager. You cannot go around saying that, you know what, just because Mason Greenwood is not playing, we're not able to do anything. That's not the expectation. He's obviously going to give you 3 or 4 good games. But you cannot rely on a season entirely on that one young kid, right? That's the same with Chalobah as well. MCIG says no funds, sell and trade players. I mean, selling and trading players, MCIG, from where I stand, I'll tell you one thing. Last time, this is what we did. We made a profit of 109.6 million euros through player sales. Okay, let me rephrase that. We sold players. We sold basically 13 players for 106.6 million euros. And we bought 3 players. One on loan, which means basically we did not spend anything on Saul Niguez, except for the loan fee, which is very minimal. We brought in Marcus Bettinelli. I don't think so that was a huge signing either. I'm not even sure if it crossed 1 million. And then when we went and got Romelu Lukaku. On the whole, we had to spend 109.6 million euros. But then imagine, we just brought in 3 players. But then we've lost 13 players, both academy and our main squad included. So my question to you guys is, we've already lost 13 players in the last summer transfer window, which means Chelsea right now has a lean squad, not just in the main squad, but also in the academy squad, because we've sold most of them, right? So we've lost a lot of people now. Why would we want to sell again? Or how much potential do we even have to sell players? Yeah, I can, from my top of the head, I can think of a few. Levi Conwell. You've got Tino Anjorin, Conor Gallagher, Billy Gilmore, maybe a couple of other academy products. But I personally think they're all very good players who can be of huge value to the team. I think it's not the right time to sell them. Conor Gallagher is rising. Billy Gilmore probably needs one more season to do that. Tino Anjorin, he's been doing actually good in the league that he's performing right now. Levi Conwell has been like the star of that particular team in championship. So these players are up and coming, and we could utilize them in our squad in a span of 2 years and 3 years. But what basically has happened now is, because of the bad investment that we made in the past with Drinkwater and Bakayoko, not just them two, right? The other players as well. We don't have an option right now. Vera says slandering Chalaba for that mistake. What about the times when Christensen fumbled and cost us points? Being harsh on the English kid but sparing the Danish Maldini hologram. Unfair. I mean, yes, absolutely. That is what I was telling you. Like you cannot just go on slandering. I'm not going to say that English players and all that, but you cannot go on and say, you know what, Jalaba's mistake cost the game. Come on. We can do better than that. We know Christensen is not up to the mark. Not just Christensen, we have other players who are not up to the mark as well. Why not point fingers at them? Chalaba, this is not the right time to blame things on Chalaba. Whereas if Tuchel isn't given funds to spend in January, he will force um, through player sales or happily welcome back loanees under the condition that he is pardoned for not getting silverware this season. Exactly. Vira is trying. I guess Vira as well is resonating with what I'm trying to say here. He should probably make a deal with the management. Say that, you know what, I might not get silverware this season, but you guys are anyways facing loss. So I'm not going to burden you with additional pressure. I'll play with whatever I have. Just get me my loanies back. And yeah, I'll just manage and maintain the squad. But if I want a challenge for a title, then you'll probably have to give me players or give me at least 2 additional years to work with these academy products to bring them to the level of all these future stars that you're seeing or the current stars that you have in the other teams. MCIG says, sell couple of top wage earners. MCIG, can you put down or can you list down the top wages that you think should be sold? I think amongst the top wage earners, one person who doesn't deserve it right now is probably Timo Werner, because otherwise we've got N'Golo Kante, who is on a decent wage. I guess he's amongst our top three earners. But come on, we're not gonna sell Kante. I don't want Kante to go from my team. Saul and Kepa. Saul is not on a higher wage, but Saul anyways needs to be given back to Atletico Madrid. I think that's the plan. So we don't have to go ahead and then return Saul anyways. I don't think so. That will make any sense from a financial perspective, because we got him on a 1-year deal, right? So the contracts will be written in such a way that, you know what, if you're returning back the player because of his poor performance mid-season, you'll again take some penalties for that as Chelsea Football Club. So I don't think so. That's a wise move from a contract standpoint. So anyways, with respect to Saul, we're not gonna buy him or something, right? So we're gonna let him go back to the Atletico Madrid. So that's on Saul. Kepa, I think Kepa signed a 6-year deal with us with 72 million euros. Correct me if I'm wrong. When is Kepa's deal getting over? If anyone knows that, please put it on the chat window. Then we'll probably take it from there. Because without knowing his last year of contract, it will be difficult for me to make anything out of it. So I'll wait for you guys to probably put that on the chat window if you guys know it. If you guys don't know, it's all right. I can search it from here. Just let me know if you guys know it from the top of your mind. MCIG says there is some legal wrangling over Saul because Marina is trying to send him back. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if she's trying to send him back now. Maybe in the summer she has to. We don't have an option. He's anyways not performing. But yeah, I'm not sure what is the legal wrangling there. I haven't heard anything of any sort. So difficult for me to comment on it. Let me know if you have a tweet or something, then I can probably take it from there, read through it and provide my comment there. I had another few tweets that I wanted to discuss with you guys. I'm going to share my screen. If you want to come in, the link is already on the chat window, guys. So if you want to come in and share your frustration, grievances, or just come in and have your say, yeah, the link is open. So I hope you guys can see my screen right now. Yeah, this is something that I was able to get from Madrid zone a popular Twitter handle. They say that Rudiger was asking only for 200K a week. I mean, a couple of weeks back, there were a lot of news outlets that were saying that Rudiger is asking for 400K, or basically Real Madrid are ready to offer 400K. And now Rudiger has basically asked 200K, and they are not ready to do that, and that's why Real Madrid are actually pulling off from the deal. So Real Madrid don't want Rudiger anymore, which means that they are not even ready to give 200K a week. But we guys have been telling, or we guys have been speculating, that it would have at least been 400K, and that is the reason why he might go to Real Madrid. So basically, this is all speculations, because anyone can write an article now. Anyone can write an article in any journalist paper, and then we probably have to come through it and then see if that is true or not. So I think the articles that came out earlier were completely off the radar. They've got it completely skewed. I think Rudiger was asking for 200K a week. This one from Madrid zone makes a lot of sense, because I guess even Chelsea Football Club are also negotiating on those lines, right? They gave him a contract of 140K, which he has now rejected, and he's asking something for more. But 200K makes a lot of sense. And if Rudiger is asking for 200K a week, even to Chelsea Football Club, I'd say, you know what, just go ahead and give it to him, because he deserves it. I think he deserves it. Because I think Chilwell is already on 190K a week or something. So 190K a week for Chilwell. He's not even played 6 months in this season. But Rudiger, if you're not giving 200K, I'm not sure how much of fairness that you're doing. Talking about fairness, we've got Fairboy in the stream. Welcome, Fairboy, to the stream. How are you doing it? Fairboy, can you hear us? Fairboy, can you hear
I'm
us?
doing well, VJ. And you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can.
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you as well.
Great. I wanted to also know how you are doing.
Yeah, I'm doing great, mate. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Are you good?
Fairboy, yes, I'm good. I'm good. Fairboy, a question to you on this Lukaku saga. Anything that you want to add to that before we get to the next topic?
For me and for all Chelsea fans, we understand that what Lukaku did to us wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to the club. It wasn't fair to the fans. It wasn't fair to the players. And if he has sorted his differences out with the manager, fine. We
Fairboy,
are
I'm not able to hear you
good
properly. I guess there is some internet issues.
to go. But
Okay, there seems to be an internet issue from Fairboy's end. Hopefully, if Fairboy, if you're hearing me, can you please rejoin again? Connect to a different Wi-Fi or something, because there's a bit of lag actually. Please rejoin, and we'll take it from there. Meanwhile, I'm just reading through this particular comment from Vira. He says, "Who is taking Barkley on 90K weekly? Kante won't go unless it's a mammoth." Okay, Kante won't go unless it's a mammoth deal from the Chinese Super League club. Then Marina cannot find elsewhere. Saul cannot be banished to the under 23s since he is on loan. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I don't think so. Anyone is going to come for Kante, and no one can afford Kante. And I don't want Kante to be sold from Chelsea Football Club. He's one of our best players. Fair boy, all good now? Your internet? Last time it was lagging a bit, buddy.
Is it better? Is it better now?
I think it's better now. Yeah, go on. Do you want to say something on the Lukaku topic?
Of course, yeah. So as I'm saying, of course, Lukaku has been disrespectful to the fans, to the manager, to the club in general, anybody connected to the club. So the fact that he's been able to sort the differences he has with the club and with the manager is good, and with the players too. But I still insist that he makes a public apology so that a lot of the fans that have been backing him and supporting him can be calm and keep on supporting him. That's what I think. But if he's able to do that, then I feel like the games that he will play, it will be easier, because I still know that there are some sections of the fans who are still annoyed with Lukaku and still insist that he leaves the club. So I would plead that he makes a public apology so that the matter will cool down or die down.
Okay, makes sense. But does he deserve? I mean, see, he basically spoke his mind out, right? So should he apologize or should he explain the situation?
I think he rather needs to apologize. He does not need to explain, because some of the things he had been saying might be true. It might be true. Some sections of the Chelsea fans believe that aspect of his statements, but we want him to apologize. That's what is needed. Let him apologize and show that he really is dedicated to Chelsea by the actions he does on the pitch. And that will be enough for us. No
All right.
explanation.
Fair boy, I've just heard you, but let me read through Hamsmaster's comment, and I'll also welcome Nick Blue post that. Hamsmaster says, "I don't forgive Lukaku. The damage is done. The only way or the only reason his apologies, it's because of the backlash he is getting." Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm not sure if he means whatever he's going to be apologizing. So I'm not sure if that apology should be considered. Thank you, Hamsbuster, for saying that. If you want to join the stream link is on the comment section. Just press that link button and you'll be directed here. Now I'm going to go to Nick Blue, an ardent Rudiger fan, and also, Lukaku fan. So I know this is something like pitting Fairboy against Nick Blue, because Nick Blue definitely doesn't want Lukaku to apologize. So Nick Blue, we've got Fairboy who says definitely Lukaku needs to be apologizing. What is your
Yeah, yeah. No, I didn't say exactly that, but I think he will come. He will make a. Could be after the Tottenham game. He's going to make a. They're going to talk to him. He's on TV, live TV, and he's going to say what he has to say. They're going to ask him the question. But what I would like to see tomorrow is him coming out and Tuchel together. So, the fans are together tomorrow. We need the fans together. We don't want all this booing and stuff, because that will cost us the game. I'm telling you. We need everyone together tomorrow. But, we know he's made a big mistake, but you have to forgive and forget. You can't go on and all this hate. I know it's good for the Twitter a lot, something to talk about, but it's too much now. You have to relax. If you listen to Thomas Tuchel today, you know what he said? He said he's training, he's on side, he's apologized to Chelsea Football Club already. And he's the way, like Tuchel said, he's the way he talks, he says things he doesn't mean sometimes. So we have to see that. And
okay?
I don't like, I don't want to see any booing going on, really.
All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that Stamford Bridge environment, of course. Vida says that Lukaku being asked to be apologized because Marina doesn't want the club to be put under unnecessary scrutiny. Lukaku is just whining because he cannot fit into the system that Tuchel is playing right now. Could be, but as a top striker, you expect it to suit the system. You cannot expect the system to suit you every single time. You're not Cristiano Ronaldo, for God's sakes. King of CFC, what do you have to say on these thoughts?
Well, I kind of agree on Nick Blue's points where we can't go on and on about this, but preferably just put him on the bench for the Tottenham game because a lot of fans won't be ready for him to come back on. So I guess he'll have to sit out tomorrow, and maybe come off the bench in the second leg because there are many fans out there who just don't want to see him at all, and there are some fans who will forgive and forget, and there are some fans who will just take longer.
Yeah, it's going to
Interesting.
be. Yeah, you're right there. It's going to be a mixed reception. But me personally, I think he will be on the bench at least tomorrow. You know, there's no point training for this match unless they're going to use him. You know, if everything goes all right, then we're winning 2-3-0, then they won't bring him on. But I can see him coming on if it's 0-0, 1-1, and we need someone to get that goal. You know, we're gonna need him if that happens.
So could it be like a 45-minute substitution, like how we did that the previous game when Lukaku was playing the last game? I think that was a 45-minute when he came in, right? So basically, what I'm trying to say is 45 minutes, Lukaku has to be on the bench. They'll have to probably look into the environment around. Obviously, there'll be chance against Lukaku, probably some booing as well. And these are the environments that they have to probably observe, like Thomas Tuchel and the coach of Chelsea Football Club, and then probably make a decision if today is the right day to feature Lukaku. Does this statement make sense, or do you guys
Yeah, it
not
makes
agree?
sense, Vijay. The only thing is, I think it depends on the score. Say we go down 1-0 in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and we don't get a goal back. Then they got, you know, he's sitting there on the bench. I'm sure Tuchel's going to bring him on if that happens. You know, I can see him staying on the bench only if we're winning. If we're winning, he won't come on.
All right, fair boy.
Yeah, but I think that they should also look at the atmosphere that might possibly occur when Lukaku is either with the team or starting for us, because we don't want any toxicity among the match-going fans. You understand? So
Exactly.
we look at the atmosphere to see if he'll be well received by the fans. By Tuchel's own discretion, if he's able to anticipate that perhaps the fans will welcome him back, then he can follow us. He can follow the team to the match, like perhaps be on the bench or start for us. That's what I think. Because if still the fans, some section of the fans are not happy with him, and they also make up a very large number of the match-going fans, I'm sure that if Lukaku is to be seen anywhere near the team, we might not even win the game, because
sorry, what's
what's
your name again? Sorry, is it King?
Yes, you can call me
Fairboy. Fairboy. You were talking.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I think the majority of Chelsea fans who go to games, they're not the same like on Twitter. So they want the team to win.
Okay.
It doesn't, at all costs. So if he comes on and performs, they'll be behind him again. I can see that happening, and I can see the other thing happening if we are losing, he could come on. But I don't know about start. Even if he starts, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts. I wouldn't. It's going to get a bit of some boost, but I think the majority will want him to show. He's going to come out and put his hands up to the fans, I'm sure.
All right. Vida says Tuchel won't let a player power undermine his tactics. No way he's going to build a team around one player or even three, like a trio he had at PSG. Of course, he was playing with Neymar, Insigne, not Insigne, Neymar, Icardi, I guess, and Mbappe. And if he has dealt with egos of that caliber, I don't think so. Lukaku is a
Mbappe.
great thing to worry about. Yeah, he's dealt with Mbappe. I mean, he's one of the most egotistical player that you
He's
can
such
probably
a
work with.
cool character, Tuchel. You see how calm he was on in the press conference.
Yeah,
You know, did you see that? I don't know if you watched it, but
yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
you saw that, yeah. So, you know, he makes he's such calm. He's very good. He knows what he's saying, and he Tuchel, you know, he just wants everyone to be together tomorrow to win, get to the final, win this cup. You know.
Makes sense. Vida says Tuchel doesn't need to start him. Lukaku can always be involved from the bench if needed to break a stalemate or add to winning position in the game. Yeah, absolutely. I understand. Vida says the fans will laugh at Tuchel's lack of courage to not drop him from the starting lineup. Put him on the bench. The less they see him playing, the better until he delivers when called upon. Yeah, all this makes sense actually. Hams Master is also saying that I respect the posture of Tuchel, of how he dealt with this very professionally. We are lucky we got him. I mean, I wanted to talk to you guys about this particular point as well from Hams Master. This Lukaku conundrum is completely different, right? Now let's talk about how he dealt with the situation from just Thomas Tuchel's perspective. I'll start with King of CFC. Tell me, King of CFC, did you like the way he dealt with it, or do you think he could have better dealt the situation? I think personally he dealt with it with absolute perfection.
Yeah, same. We're lucky to have him as a manager. He kept it all professional. He didn't react to anything, even when the people at the conference, the reporters, kept asking him the same questions about Lukaku over and over again. And I like how he says everything will be kept in secret behind doors, so that they couldn't really ask more questions.
Now makes a lot of sense. I mean, he did not offend the press. At the same time, most of the questions were on Lukaku topic than the game. He did not get pissed off. He obviously answered every single one of them very carefully, and he also mentioned that he is not going anywhere. Basically, he has a big contract with the club, which means he's staying. Um, I like the way he handled the press today. Every time I like the way that Thomas Tuchel handles the press, but today it was even more better because he was under huge pressure to answer all these questions, and he did a really great job. Um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah, go on.
I said, yeah, the way he handled it was great. It's great to see. We all know what a great manager he is, but you know, he's handled it, you know, the only way he can really, and that's to tell everyone, you know, he's here, he's a Chelsea player, and he's going to play and try and score for this club and win us honours. But it's like they were asking you about the future. You know, he said these. That's up to him. What happens in the future? He's got 5 years. He's our player. He said, and he's at the moment he's our player. In the future, he said you have to ask him what he wants. That's what you know. That's the best thing you could say, really. Yeah.
Agreed. A quick point on Trevor Chalobah as well. We got to know that Trevor Chalobah is having a hamstring injury and will be out for the next 2 weeks, which means he's not going to be part of the two. I mean, both this Chesterfield game, City game. I also think one of the Tottenham games, which is probably tomorrow. So yeah, that is there. That is something that we have to deal with, which makes our lineup even more difficult, which probably will be even more difficult for us to deal with. And we're not doing the Tottenham Chelsea match preview today. That will happen the same time tomorrow. Um, Today is more on the transfer side of things. Rudiger, okay, this is something that we spoke about as well. Let me bring up the next one I had on the list. We had all interesting tweets today. Yeah, this is another one. This shows the strength of our academy. I just wanted to touch upon our Cobham Academy. A Chelsea Academy player has now started in our last 150 consecutive games, the most since Roman Abramovich took over. La Cobham. Thoughts here, Fairboy. Let's start with Fairboy. 150 consecutive academy games for our Chelsea Academy boys. Okay, let's probably circle around to Fairboy. We'll go with King of CFC.
Pardon?
No, I was just wanting to get your opinion on this particular statement. Cobham boys have been performing in Chelsea
Okay.
academy system 150 consecutive players.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
go on.
think it's okay. Fairboy, you can go first.
I think Fairboy is lagging a bit again. Fairboy, you might have to rejoin, buddy. King of CFC, you can continue.
Okay, I think it's great. I think it just shows the progress of this club. How
Give me a
because
moment. I'll sort this.
okay,
Mm,
it just shows how we've developed over the years. Because under the Roman era, and pre-Roman era, we've used we haven't been using our youngsters a lot. We're just selling them or loaning them to other small teams, and we didn't really get them back. We just sold them, and it's great to see a few upcoming rising stars from Cobham who are actually playing in the first team and already winning a Champions League, competing for many cups in the Club World Cup, and well, not all hope is lost for their Premier League title. So I think it's just great.
Agreed, definitely. We've got Fairboy back. Fairboy, hope your connection is all good and sorted now.
yeah,
Can you
I
hear
believe
us?
so. It's okay. I
Yeah,
can
all
hear
right.
you.
All right. Do you want to have your say on this particular statement, this particular tweet, basically? I hope you can read the tweet.
Yeah, I can read a tweet, and
Yeah,
it's
all clear, right?
interesting. Mm. Oh, of course, of course. Our academy is really, really good. They are really, really good. We've produced lots of talents from there. We can talk about some of the players I even see. They are in our squad. We have James. We have, I think, Christensen, Mount, Odoi, and a lot of them. Chaloba himself. So, of course, Abramovich has built an empire with our academy players, and it's quite interesting. So there's one thing I want to touch on: the way
Yes, please.
Chelsea prepare. Yeah, the way Chelsea prepare. How do we call it? Like a succession plan from the old guys to the new guys. I feel like if indeed we want to use the academy boys, we need to prepare them. And the preparation starts now. When our senior members are still in form, are still actively playing, we need to prepare them. We need to bring them, introduce them to the first team, and use them. As I would say, they'll be backup for the senior players and understudy them, so that when they fade out, they'll be capable of handling the responsibilities that our old guys were doing. So, in fact, I commend this academy project that Chelsea has done, and it's something I'll give credit to Thomas Tuchel, not Tuchel, Roman Abramovich for that.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Vera says Tuchel excelled at Mainz FC integrating youth into the first team. No surprise we have utilized our academy under the German genius who is not far away from Klopp. Absolutely. I mean, a very good statement there. I mean, I thought honestly after Lampard left, we'll probably transition back to the same system where we just loan out academy players and not utilize them in our own squad. But it's very interesting to see what Thomas Tuchel has did with the squad. He's decided, you know what, whatever happened with Lampard is probably the way that we have to go. Bring in our youth players into the system and give them chances, and they're doing really great things. Chalaba, particularly, very interesting to see him, the way that he's grown. Another academy product. Proud of Chelsea Football Club. But Nick Blue, anything that you want to tell about
Yeah,
our
I
academy?
agree. Yeah, I agree with everything everyone said about Robert Abramovich. You know, as soon as he come in, he built that Cobham, turned it into a great place. Everything you want, there's there for the players. And we have great players from the in our team, first team already, and we have great players on loan, which they are doing well, like Gallagher, Broja, and Gilmore. You know, we got them. They playing really well. They're getting experience, and I'm sure they'll be back in the squad next season. And we have a lot of great young players, and the ones coming through, like we saw the other day when they were playing. Vale, I was impressed. A few of them. The ones who played that day were pretty good for the first game. 17, 18 year olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds. You know, it was great to see. I think they'd be playing against Chesterfield for sure. You're gonna have to rest the North players. We'll see how we're gonna see even more of them. So that'd be good.
No, absolutely, absolutely. That's going to be really great. MCIG also says we could get Aubameyang from the London feeder club. His valuation is low, and he is on good terms with Tuchel. I mean, would we need this person in Chelsea? Yeah, to
Um,
be honest, I don't think so. I don't think so. We
no,
need him
no,
because we
no. I
already
don't
have
think.
one Lukaku.
Yeah, no, I don't think that will happen. I
Yeah,
don't. I can't see it. Impossible. He's
I
he's
mean,
got the he's got a worse
MCIG.
attitude than the Lukaku Aubameyang.
Yeah, MCIG. How many players do you want in our squad to create problems for Thomas Tuchel? I think one Lukaku is enough to do that.
Yeah,
Bringing in
yeah.
Aubameyang is almost bringing in another player of the same, caliber. And I don't personally recommend Aubameyang to Chelsea Football Club. 32 million is they signed him for from Borussia Dortmund, but I don't personally recommend him for Chelsea Football Club any day. Yeah, that was one of the tweet, and I also wanted to talk about this one. Interesting, and this probably covers a lot of what we have to talk today. Lucadinia.
Yeah, right.
This is from Andres, who says Chelsea board has discussed all of the options for wingback, and it now looks like they have decided to go for Lucadinia. I guess they kind of zeroed in after having to look into Dest from Barcelona, this guy Lucadinia, and also Kieran, I don't know what is his first name, but Trippier. Um,
Trippier.
yeah, Trippier from Atletico Madrid. I think they've come to a conclusion on Luca Digne. Chelsea want him on loan. However, Everton want to sell him and are asking for around 25 million euros. I'll let this start by Fairboy. Fairboy, what do you want to talk about with respect to Luca Digne? Do you think he'll suit our system? Do you think he'll be a fine replacement for Ben Chilwell or whoever he's going to try and replace? Maybe Reece James as well. I think he needs to be playing, adjusting both left back and right back. And he's used to playing in right back, is what I believe. Sorry, left back is what I believe.
Yeah. He's a very talented player. He has the skill sets we need to, we need as a team to help our team move forward. And I think this is something. There's a problem with our management. You see, look at how should I say it? We always wait for the time when we are in crisis before we get players in, and that is wrong. You understand? We should have had such a player like Lucadine a long time ago. Like Alonso and Co should have been sold, and someone like Lucadine should have been Chilwell's backup. But we still wait until the last moment. Now we are struggling. But I feel like you'll be a proper addition. The problem is, I don't know if the fact that he lacks game time would affect how he performs for us. I don't know if he's training well, but if he's on form, I think he'll be a fantastic addition for us. No two ways about that. He'll be a fantastic addition for us. So I'll go for Lucadine any day.
All right. So we also have to remember the fact that Everton already have two replacements for their left back and right back positions. They've signed their left back and right back in the last couple of months. What am I saying? Last couple of months? No, last couple of windows. So for them, Lucadinha is basically an additional one, and I think Lucadinha also is ready to come and play for Chelsea. But the thing is, this 25 million is something that is a bit heavy or a hefty fee that Everton are asking. I'm not sure if Chelsea will budge to that. Thoughts on that, Nick Blue?
Yeah, like I said before, I'm all for it. I like Luca Di. He's the best player, for me in when he was playing for Everton. One of their best players, alongside what's his name? Um, Forgot his name. It's gone out of my mind now. But he's a good player, and I think he does want to come to Chelsea. His time at Everton is finished. I think he doesn't want to be there. I think a good thing would be to loan if we get him on loan and an option to buy. That'd be the good deal. That'd be the
Makes
best deal I
sense.
think right now. And if he does everything, and then we can buy him in the summer like we did with Kovacic. Same
Yeah.
situation.
That makes
True.
sense. Makes sense.
True.
MCIG, I guess that's an interesting way to look at it. MCIG says that Dinia guy sucks. He is not Chelsea's quality. He can't compete against our wing backs when they're fit. So basically, what he's trying to say is we don't need a Chilwell backup. We need a player that can compete with and replace Chilwell. Interesting way to look at it. King of CFC, I'm going to leave it to you to probably answer that query. Um, are we looking for a Chilwell backup, or do you think this person can replace Chilwell? Do you think he's of that caliber?
I mean, the fact that we want him on a loan just shows we're just taking him for a short amount of time and as a
Mm,
backup. And if we go ahead and buy him, I think that won't be the right choice unless if we can somehow manage to put it down to like 18 million, because
mm,
20 or higher, I don't think Chelsea will want, or the Chelsea board or Marina will want to go for. Um, I sort of agree with MCIG when he says we need to go for a replacement.
mm.
But at the same time, we have the intention of a loan. We don't have the intention to buy. So
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. But that also opens up another topic that Veera has brought in. He says, "Why take on oldie like Dinia rather than gambling on a young Ian Matson. I mean, Ian Matson is from our academy. Better off recalling youth than relying on a player a club like Everton are willing to let go. He's essentially a reject. I mean, I'd like to say a couple of points before I hand the floor to the other folks. First thing is, he's not an Everton reject. He's basically someone who doesn't suit the way of play from for Rafael Benitez, and that's probably the reason why he's not been favored. So I wouldn't necessarily call him a reject. He's not someone who's suitable for their system. Now the question is, will he be suitable for our system? That depends on what Thomas Tuchel
yeah,
decides. And if he feels he is suitable, then I don't have a problem with that. But at the same time, talking about Ian Matson, I think calling a lone player back prematurely is something that is like the last step when you don't even have an option, right? I don't think so. The club right now is in that sort of a position, and from a youngster's perspective, they basically wanted matches, and that is why they went, to all these smaller clubs to get playing time. So there isn't any purpose that is being served in getting them back for almost 6 months. That will only curtail their confidence in development, because the way that they're playing right now, I'm not sure where Ian Matson is now currently playing, but let's say he's playing somewhere in Blackpool, which is a championship side. The kind of intensity that he is used to is completely different, and very much a higher step for him to step in and play for the Chelsea senior squad, where we compete for Champions League and uh, other bigger trophies. So it essentially is a risk from the club's perspective, and it's also a risk from the player's growth perspective, because from the growth side of things, this could hurt his confidence in a very bad way that he could not come back from. That's my thoughts on it. But you guys can provide more insight. I'll start with Fairboy.
Yeah, you see, I kind of like the way you made this submission. It's nice. You talked about the development of the player. Look, the way Chelsea has been designed, Chelsea is designed to win, win and win. And if you look at young players, young players tend to be inconsistent. Not that they are no good, but they are inconsistent. An example is what is happening in our squad. Someone like Udoi, Chalobah, Mount. You see, these inconsistencies, and our club cannot afford to be inconsistent and not be able to win certain things that we have to actually win. So it would be the right choice or the right move to go for Lukadin, who is much more experienced and much more older, and who can handle the pressure of trying to win things. As it stands now, a lot of us are saying that we are out of the title race, but we are still in it. I believe that we are still in it. So we need someone like a Lukadin who has that mental toughness to be able to handle and cope with the pressure. Ian Matson should just continue his development wherever he is. You see, so of course, Ian Matson might be a good choice, but let him develop in his loan spell at wherever he is, and let's go for Lukadin, who can help us in the short term right now, so as to see if we can get a hold on any silverware or something. That's my take on this.
All right, makes sense from Fairboy. And he seems to be resonating with whatever my thought is here in this particular situation. Nick, do you have a Loney, or do you want to go for academy products?
No, Ian Matson is, he's still learning, he's still progressing. If we're bringing back, which I don't think we will do 100%, they won't bring him back now. He's got to stay in the championship and get his game up and grow up. He's still young, and I think look at Didier. He's a man for me. I've been saying it all season. We should have bring him in, even when Chilwell was there. He could have been a good backup. We were, now we're stuck now with no left wing back or right wing back with Rhys James. So for me, it's 100% Luka Digne.
All right. Fair enough. King of CFC, your thoughts here?
I mean, I would have preferred a Gozens type player, but I'm not upset with Lucas Digne. He's good. It would be great if we could get a loan with an option to buy. I mean, it's only 3 months. I don't see any point in buying him, because if he doesn't prove himself in those 3 months, we're just basically wasting our money. And yeah, he's very good offensively. His crosses, I've seen him play for Everton, and when he was in PSG, he's a good crosser. He's not the best, but he's definitely better than Alonso. He's a good shooter with the ball.
You had to bring in Alonso, didn't you?
Even Matson is better than Alonso.
Yeah.
we need someone to get rid of Alonso. The sooner the better. He's past it. He's done his spell. He had his moments. He was a good player for us. I'm not saying that, but his time's up.
He won't slow down. He's a very fast player. He won't slow down the tempo if we pass to him. And defensively, he's decent defensively. He isn't the best, and he also isn't the worst, but he's probably as good as Chilwell defensively. So I think he's a great player. And yeah, the only thing wrong with the only thing I would like to change is just go for Gozens, because for me, in my opinion, all round he's a better player. But
King of Chelsea, I always say Gozens is a great player, but I think in the summer Chelsea will go after a great left wing back, someone to have with Chilwell. They will. I'm sure they're going to have to, and the right wing back. If what Tuchel wants, if Digne doesn't, show them he's good enough to stay. If it's good enough, we won't need someone. But I can see him, going after someone at least in the summer, big name. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we could still wait for the summer transfer window and then go for it. Veera, interesting one. He says that asking Digne to challenge for Chilwell, the starting spot is like young Havertz is telling young Havertz that Coutinho, Uncle Coutinho, is coming from Barcelona to compete for his place in the team. Doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's again the same thing that is anyways happening for
It's
Chilwell, right? We're having Alonso to compete with him.
Yeah, and
it,
don't forget, in one stage, Alonso was better. So don't forget, you know, Chilwell is, he's the the one when he's 100%, of course. But even when he comes back, it's going to take him time to get back, to where he was.
Mm.
So we need someone for sure.
and no one
Um,
said he was coming in to compete with Chilwell's position. We're
Yeah,
just bringing him in just because we've got no other option except for Alonso.
mm.
exactly.
Now,
Yeah,
I think Vera is more concerned about the next season. He says maybe we brought him now and probably he has done a good job or he's probably done a decent job. But then once Chilwell comes in, it's almost like having an Emerson in our squad with no utilization for him because he's anyways below Alonso and Chilwell at the previous year. We saw Emerson was not even in the talking point. Then we had to bring in Emerson for a couple of games because there was a complete lean availability of our squad. So I think Vera is getting there where he sees Dinia probably like an Emerson, and he'd be a waste for
No,
us, is what I'm thinking.
But an
think
Emerson is better than an Alonso. Emerson is better than Alonso
yeah.
for sure.
yeah. They both have their moments. Remember
Yeah.
when Edison was playing? Sometimes he had great games, but he could have a great game, and the next game could be bad. Like Alonso, similar. They could have great games, but bad ones as well. Both of them. I think.
This one
Yes.
is
But
really good. Vera says Gosens or Alfonso Davis. I mean, from a practical standpoint, how much this is feasible, I don't know. I'm really not sure if that is feasible at all. But then they are really good replacements for Chelsea Football Club from a ideal perspective. He says that Davis would be an ideal Alonso replacement or Gosens would be an ideal replacement. But to resort to taking in an aging Dinia, he isn't huge upgrade over the overcooked Spanish omelette. Interesting choice of words there by Vera.
VJ,
Yeah, go on.
let me say this quick, and I hope that the Chelsea management will, perhaps if they are listening to our stream, will listen carefully. You see, the way they sometimes treat transfers, it's not good. It doesn't help our club. You don't have to buy players when the current generation has already aged and they are of no use for us. That's not how we do transfers. Look at the way City make their transfers. Before a certain player will retire, 2 years, 2 or 3 years, or maybe 2 years before that player will retire, then they buy his replacement. Especially if the person is from abroad, they buy that replacement and make sure that the person studies the game. Then later on, introduce him little by little into the squad. Then after that, we see the old guy off. That is how our club should be running business and the transfers, so that we do not have to come into a situation whereby we are struggling to find players to replace the first team members. It's not good. They should change the way they approach their transfers of players. We always have to get a backup for the first team. We don't have to do that during crisis mode, and that doesn't help our team, and that doesn't help the manager too. So they should be mindful of that. It's serious.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you. I mean, that too, when you have someone especially young in your squad, I don't think so. You have to bring in another person who's intentionally going to be a lot more competitive than this youngster. Thereby, you don't actually make use of this youngster. Um, I don't really see the value in it, and I completely resonate with your thought there. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. And I think in this particular situation, since Chilwell as well is young, it makes a lot of sense to bring an experienced player on a loan and then make it out until this youngster is back on his fitness, and then we get the best out of him. I get it. I get it. Um, I mean, this particular tweet from Simon Phillips, interesting one, but I just wanted to like let you guys as well take a look at it if you've not already. The picture from the full-time whistle yesterday in the Liverpool Chelsea match says it all. These players gave it their absolutely all. They wanted that win and they deserved it. This is what we want to see as fans. Give us 100% every time you are on that pitch. Simon Phillips says that, and then he tweets this picture. I mean, interesting picture here. When you see this picture, one thing that you can see is every player is completely exhausted except for one man. And that one man is Angola Kante. Just take a look at him. Oh my God, he's still standing. He's not tired. Like similar to Mason Mount, but he as well looks a bit tired. But then look at N'Golo Kante. I mean, he just plays for one game. But when he plays for that one game, you come to a conclusion. You know what? We shouldn't drop this person. He's everywhere basically on the pitch. So you basically cannot tag him to saying that he is a right defensive midfielder. No, you cannot do that. I mean, he's basically a box to box and is always between those boxes everywhere. So, anyone has anything to talk about Kante? Do you guys want to, you know, um,
Sometimes I realize he's sort of playing as a striker most of the time. Um, and when we're defending, he comes over and helps. But offensively, he's just pushing up and fighting to get that ball. And he plays as a striker, just covering our strikers because I'm pretty sure he just knows that our strikers aren't really that good. So he's just giving them extra support.
I think
And
that is an
yeah,
aspect of his game that is improved recently. Usually, Kante doesn't support attack, but then in the last couple of seasons, I wouldn't even say couple of seasons. I think after Thomas Tuchel has come in, maybe the instruction for Kante was to even move further and contribute to the attack, and probably given him that sort of a confidence. That's something that Thomas Tuchel has done, is what I believe. Has instilled that confidence in Kante, and made him realize that what, you're just not a midfielder who supports winning tackles and then passing it to other midfielders to make a chance or create a chance for your front three. You yourself can combine with that front three and then create something for yourself either, or just create something for them. So it's almost like he's now playing as a CDM. He's also playing as a CAM. So absolutely ridiculous the way that he's playing.
his stamina is insane.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how he trains. I'd be glad to know that. Nick Blue, your thoughts on Kante?
Yeah, Kante is something else, man. He's one of the best, if not the best, in the world, which I think he is right now. And we can't replace him. I want him to stay at Chelsea forever. Even when he gets even older, just have him there on the bench and bring him on for 10, 20 minutes if we need him, because he's something else. Plus, I don't think Tuchel give him any instructions. Conte knows what he has to do. When he sees we need to attack and they're not doing it, he's up there. When in the midfield is not so good, he's in the midfield helping Kovacic or Jorginho. Then he's in defense. He's everywhere. This man is a king. He's unreplaceable. And, without him, we would have lost against Liverpool. For sure. Yeah.
Agreed. Definitely, he's someone who we need in our team. Fairboy says, I had to sign up. Really enjoyed the stream. Thank you, Fairboy, for coming in the stream. Absolutely, it was a pleasure to have you on the stream. MCIG also says, Jorginho can't even play CDM in fast-paced games. Kante can and get an assist too. I mean, yeah, that's true.
No, but
Kante can get assists, but Jorginho's play is different. I think there needs to be a tactical explanation when it comes to Jorginho's play, because a lot of people, including me, did not understand what was the importance of having Jorginho in the team earlier. But then I started realizing that after talking to a few people on the panel, whenever I go to the other channels, and I started realizing, what this person basically brings into the team, and I started realizing the importance of this person, because when he was not on that pitch, you knew that you knew you were missing someone.
He showed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jorginho is, he calms the team down. It's like he's not fast. But he's got the brain to, sort like the midfield out when we have to. I love Jorginho. He's been great for Chelsea. And you know, he's another player where a lot of fans are selling. They're shouting or selling. He's not past it. You know, he's still a great player. He's been overplayed. Don't forget. He's been playing with an injury. Don't forget. But he does his job. Even against Liverpool, when he come on, he steadied the game. He steadied the game, so we wouldn't lose. That's why Tuchel brought him on to calm us down, not to, overrun ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He's a great player.
Yeah, absolutely. And last thing, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on Rudiger situation, contract situation. I know we've signed Thiago Silva. First, let us quickly talk through Thiago Silva. You guys are happy about the signing? Did you guys
Yes,
Of
expect that?
course,
100%.
I knew that would happen. I knew that when the season started. He wants to be there. Chelsea, I would have been happy if they even gave him 2 years, but they're doing it 1 year at a time. I hope he stays there even when he's not playing. He's a great person to have in the dressing room. He's really good. I hope he finishes his career with us. That's all. Yeah.
All right.
This
This is
Zlatan
an
of defending.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. He's another unbelievable player. We have 2 world-class players, and this Kante and Silva, world-class.
Yeah.
Okay. This is something that I wanted to bring to your attention. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that this is official and confirmed. Nathan Patterson joins Everton from Rangers on a permanent move for 12 million euros plus bonuses. Contract until June 2027. Lucadinha now
Oh,
expected to leave the club as next step. So I guess it's a circle, it's a rotation basically.
yeah.
Nathan
It's gonna
Patterson
happen.
comes in, and then you know what,
Yes.
Lucadinha will come out.
We're
Yeah,
not gonna get a loan.
that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
The first step of the deal is probably achieved from Everton's end. It's now on Chelsea to push this deal through and get it into completion. Vera says, wait, Everton don't want to loan Dinia out. They want to sell him. Let's look at Max Aarons instead. Max Aarons is another interesting prospect. I seen him run his socks off for Norwich, and we could make use of his energy and youthful vibrancy. Interesting choice of words there. And I love the way that you put that as well. Max Aarons could be a good choice, but I'm not sure how well he can contribute on the attacking side of the pitch, because I've not seen that really from Norwich this season. So I cannot just say, you know what, Max Aarons is going to do well on the attacking side of the
Yeah.
pitch. So that's one thing that I'm worried about. But Lucadinha, I can still go ahead and say, you know what, he's done that, contribution both on the attacking side of the pitch and the defensive side of the pitch. So that's the problem that I have with Max Aarons. But if you guys, anyone else, have observed Norwich's game, do you want to comment on
Yeah.
why Max
Max,
Aarons should be
yeah.
here or not?
He's a good player for Norwich, but he's not a Chelsea player. No chance we're going to buy him. Not in a million years. I can't see no chance for that to happen. He's not a Chelsea level.
No, agreed. And DJ Savage says that Everton wants 25 million euros for Dinia. Exactly. This is what we were also discussing. Not sure if he's worth that amount. We were actually discussing that maybe if we can get him for 18 or something around that, then maybe he's worth it. 25 million, that's really doubtful. But I think if we go for a loan this season with a buy option of maybe 25, and even if it is for 25, and probably not trigger it the next season, and try and work out Alonso for the initial few games, and then have Chilwell back in to the squad, and probably get someone like Ian Martison back from the academy, because he would have completed his loan spell that time, and then start him, not basically start him, have him as the third option. I think that could probably work, but I know it's a risky combination. Um, but I'm still not sure 25 million for Dinia is a good option, is a good buy or not. I personally think, I personally, resonate with DJ Savage. 25 million for Dinia, not a great thing. But what options do we have?
Yeah, but I think, Vijay, I think, Marina's going to get this done somehow. You know, she will do something like she does. That's her department. So it could. I mean, I can see him coming for sure. Coming. But I like a loan and an option to buy. That's what they're probably trying to sort out with Everton. Depends on agreement, if they come to an agreement.
All right, all right. Vito says Kante is simply a Claude Makelele with a better engine to last 90 minutes. The only player close to replacing him is Ndidi from Leicester City, if he can build on his fitness levels. I mean, yeah, he obviously is a good choice, but I'd say, yeah, if I was someone from the board, I'd look at probably someone like Bissouma to come in to Chelsea rather than go for Ndidi. I'm sure you're not seeing about Ndidi coming into Chelsea. I get that. You're talking about Kante, probably the next best player like playing like Kante would be Ndidi. But I think someone like Bissouma can suit this midfield. The way that he's playing the last few games is amazing, amazing. All right, MCIG says legends. Vera says Dinia could always return to Barcelona. Let Xavi handle him, rebuild Barcelona with him. We don't have time to be patient with Dinia. All right, all right. The fan base is quite mixed around Dinia. Let's see how he prospers if he comes to Chelsea Football Club, if at all he comes to Chelsea Football Club. But these are what I had for the stream today. It was pretty much a transfer stream. I didn't want to do the preview today. I thought maybe we'll do it tomorrow just before the game, and then we'll take it from there, because anyways we're not doing the watch along of the game in our channel. I'm doing it in CFC chats, and then we'll come for the post-match reaction, of course. So we're going to do a pre-match reaction and a post-match reaction for the Chelsea Tottenham game in Sportswire channel, so stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Nick Blue and King of CFC, any final thoughts before we wrap up the stream?
No, not really.
Final thoughts is Lukaku to kill Tottenham, so the haters will shut up.
Yeah, a hat trick at the Stamford Bridge tomorrow will probably, will probably
that'd be the best news we can have for the new year.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that probably will help him, against Chelsea fans, if he's going to apologize or explain. But either way, it's going to be interesting on how Lukaku performs in the Chelsea game against Tottenham, if at all he's going to perform, or probably start. But it was nice. It was nice, first of all, talking to you guys. MCIG, Veera, King of CFC, DJ Savage. Sorry if I missed out on anyone else, but all of you guys have been a wonderful people here in the comments and also on the panel. It's always lovely to talk to you guys about football. It's been a pleasure for me. Hoping to see you tomorrow with the pre-match show for the Chelsea versus Tottenham game. Until that, this is VJ signing off. You guys have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Yeah, big up, Chops.
Big up. Bye.